The stars stretched endlessly across the dark sky, flickering like tiny candles in the vast emptiness. A massive fleet of human starships moved steadily through the void, their sleek metal bodies glinting under the distant suns. On the bridge of the lid ship, the human ambassador, Commander Elias Kane, stood tall, his eyes calm but sharp. He watched the approaching planet below, home to the legendary Galactic Council, a gathering of the most powerful alien civilizations in the known universe. The Council had ruled the galaxy for centuries, making decisions that could destroy worlds or save them. They were feared for their wisdom, but also for their cruelty. For years, humanity had remained on the edge of their notice, a species considered insignificant, yet strangely unpredictable. Now, the humans were called to present a tribute, a ritual demanded of all civilizations that wished to remain under the Council's protection. As the fleet entered the atmosphere, the Council's massive chamber came into view. Floating high above the planet's surface, a structure of impossible geometry and shimmering energy. Inside, alien leaders of every shape and size awaited, their eyes sharp, their tentacles and limbs twitching with anticipation. Whispers filled the air, voices like wind through metal, questioning, doubting, and fearing the humans' arrival. Commander Kane's voice broke the silence, steady and confident. "Prepare the landing sequence," he ordered. His officers moved with precision. Every action practiced 1,000 times. The human ships descended slowly, their engines humming softly, almost like a heartbeat. A red carpet of energy formed beneath the main landing pad, welcoming them, yet warning them. This was no ordinary ceremony, and Kane knew that one wrong move could spark disaster. Inside the council chamber, the aliens stood in rigid formation, their expressions unreadable. A high chancellor, a being of glimmering crystal with eyes that could pierce through souls, raised a claw, signaling for silence. "Humans," the chancellor's voice echoed, low and resonant, "you are here to present the tribute demanded by the council. You have but one chance to obey, one chance to prove your worth. Failure will bring consequences beyond your comprehension." The room grew colder, as if the very air feared the humans. Kane stepped forward, his presence commanding despite being surrounded by beings far larger than him. "We are ready," he said simply, and the chamber fell into uneasy silence. The council studied him, scanning for fear, for hesitation, for weakness, but found none. Every gesture, every glance, radiated calm confidence. Whispers among the alien delegates grew louder. "Do they understand our rules?" one asked, his voice trembling slightly. Another replied, "They must, but they do not fear us. How is this possible?" The tension thickened, each second stretching longer than the last. Kane's crew moved quietly behind him, their eyes fixed on the council, waiting for the signal, ready to act if necessary. The tribute itself was strange and delicate, an intricate device forged from rare materials, glowing softly with an inner light. The humans carried it forward carefully, each step measured. Kane held the device out before the council, and for a moment the entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then the chancellor spoke again. "Place the tribute on the altar, humans, and speak the words of submission." His tone was firm, yet there was a hint of curiosity, as if he wondered what these humans might do. Kane paused, his hand hovering over the glowing device. He looked at the chancellor, at the assembly of alien leaders, and then back at his crew. The silence was deafening, heavy with expectation. The humans had a choice, a single moment to show obedience or defiance. The council expected fear, trembling, a promise to follow their commands without question. But Kane's eyes burned with determination, a fire that no alien authority could extinguish. The council members shifted uneasily, sensing that this moment would decide the course of history. Whispers became murmurs, murmurs became anxious glances, and glances became outright fear. How could such small creatures, with no fleets to rival theirs, and no armies to command, dare stand so tall before the galaxy's rulers? Kane knew the world would judge them in seconds, but humanity's spirit would not be crushed by threats or intimidation. The ambassador took a deep breath, feeling the weight of every human on Earth, of every colony that looked to them for hope. This tribute was more than a ritual. It was a statement, a moment to show the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. Kane lifted the device slightly, and then, in a calm, steady voice, he spoke. Then we respond. The chamber went silent, the air thick with anticipation. Every alien heart raced, every limb trembled. They waited, expecting words of surrender, promises of obedience. Instead, the humans were about to do something no one had ever imagined, something that would change the way the galaxy viewed them forever. Outside, the stars seemed to hold their breath, the red carpet of energy glowing brighter, almost in anticipation. Kane's crew stood behind him, unwavering, ready for whatever came next. For the first time in history, humanity was not just a minor species on the edge of the galaxy. They were a force to be reckoned with. And the Council, the mighty rulers of countless worlds, were about to learn a lesson they would never forget. The first part of the story ended not with action, but with suspense, a question hanging in the air. What was humanity's response? The answer would terrify the Council and echo across the stars for generations to come. The chamber was still, the Council frozen in anticipation. Their eyes, wide with shock, glimmered like alien gems, waiting for the humans' words. Commander Kane's hand rested lightly on the tribute device, his face calm but determined. The moment hung in the air, thick as fog, as if the universe itself had paused to witness what would happen next. Then Kane spoke, his voice clear and unshakable. No. A single word, yet it carried the weight of 1,000 suns. The Council recoiled as if struck, their bodies trembling. A ripple of fear spreading across the chamber. Aliens of every shape and size blinked in disbelief. Some leaned forward, hoping they had misheard. Others whispered frantic questions. Did he just say, no? The High Chancellor's crystal form seemed to shimmer violently, a sign of deep agitation. No. The Chancellor repeated, voice trembling. You refuse the tribute. Kane's gaze did not waver, his stance unwavering. We refuse to bow. We refuse to submit. We are not your subjects, nor are we slaves to your orders. A murmur of panic spread through the delegates. Tentacles twitched, wings flared, eyes glowed brighter. Some could not comprehend such courage. How could such small beings speak with such defiance to the rulers of the galaxy? Kane's calm confidence became a weapon more powerful than any fleet. The aliens' fear grew as Kane continued. We come in peace, yet we do not fear you. We will not kneel. We will not surrender. Humanity stands as it always has, united and proud. His words, though simple, carried a rhythm of power and conviction, a heartbeat of the entire species. For a moment, silence returned, but it was different now, heavy and tense. The Council struggled to respond. Their centuries of dominance challenged in a single instant. Aliens argued among themselves. This is impossible. One shouted, they are small, they have no armies to match ours, yet they speak like gods. Another added, do we strike now or wait? We cannot ignore them. Meanwhile, Kane's crew remained still, their eyes steady, ready for any sudden attack. Their confidence inspired a quiet pride, even in those who feared what might come. It was clear that these humans were not ordinary, their courage unmatched, their will unbroken. The High Chancellor raised a claw, trembling slightly, attempting to regain control. Humans, the voice echoed, resonant and cold. Your defiance will be noted. We will remember this day. You may leave, but know this. The galaxy does not forgive easily. Consequences will follow. Kane smiled faintly, yet his expression remained serious. We accept your warning, but we will never bow. Your threats do not frighten us. We face the future as we always have, together and strong. The words echoed through the chamber like a song of defiance, shaking the council to its core. Whispers turned into murmurs of panic, tentacles flailed, wings beat nervously, and some delegates nearly toppled from their platforms. Every alien could feel the weight of that one word, no, as if it had shattered the balance of power in the galaxy. Outside the chamber, the stars seemed to shine brighter, reflecting humanity's defiance. The fleet waited silently, sensing the tension, ready to follow Kane's command. The galaxy would never forget this moment, not for centuries, not for millennia. For the first time, humanity had shown the galaxy that they were not weak, not subservient, not small. They were bold, courageous, and unstoppable in spirit. The Council had demanded tribute, yet it had received something far more powerful. A challenge, a statement, a promise. The alien sphere was not born of violence, nor of technology, but of will, the unwavering resolve of a species that refused to bow to anyone. Kane turned to leave, his steps measured, calm, and proud. Every council member watched, silent and uneasy, knowing that the humans had changed everything with just a single word. And so the stage was set, the galaxy holding its breath. The council had seen defiance, but they did not yet know the extent of humanity's power. A story of courage, pride, and unyielding spirit was only beginning to unfold. The final thought echoed through the minds of every alien present. If this is what one word can do, imagine what humans can achieve next. The silence that followed humanity's single word was deafening. The council's chamber, once buzzing with authority, now felt fragile, like a crystal about to shatter. Aliens whispered urgently among themselves, their voices low but sharp. They have no armies, yet they speak as if they command the stars. The High Chancellor's crystal form shimmered violently, every facet reflecting confusion and fear. This cannot be. The voice stammered. Humans are supposed to submit, yet they dare refuse. Tentacles curled in frustration, wings flapped nervously, and claws tapped the gleaming floor, signaling unrest. Kane's calm presence only added to the council's unease. He stepped aside, allowing his crew to move freely but maintaining an air of absolute authority. Every gesture he made screamed confidence, a warning the humans were not to be underestimated. Delegates began arguing fiercely, their differences erupting in chaos. We must strike them now. If we hesitate, their defiance will spread, shouted one, a winged alien with sharp, glowing eyes. No, we cannot underestimate them, countered another. They are clever, patient, and united. This is more dangerous than any weapon. The council's debates grew louder, their fear becoming tangible, vibrating through the chamber like a low storm. Kane observed silently, his expression unchanged. He knew that the council's indecision was his greatest ally. Humans thrived in moments like this, when others doubted, hesitated, and overthought. Whispers of humans' previous victories across small skirmishes and border disputes started to surface. The aliens remembered reports of human fleets, small but resilient, of colonies that had survived disasters others thought impossible. Every memory added weight to the fear that now gripped the council. One elder delegate, a massive being covered in shimmering scales, raised a claw, trembling slightly. They are bold, yes, but can they survive if we attack? His voice was almost a whisper, yet it carried the uncertainty that had spread like wildfire. Across the chamber, others nodded, realizing that brute force might not win. Humanity's courage and unity were something entirely alien to them. Kane's voice broke the growing panic, calm and steady. We seek no war, yet we will not bend, he said, simple words that carried immense weight. We are ready to defend ourselves if challenged, but we hope the galaxy will see that courage is stronger than fear. The High Chancellor's voice quivered as it responded. Your words. They are dangerous, humans, too dangerous to ignore. Delegates shifted uncomfortably, sensing that history was being rewritten in that very chamber. For centuries, no species had dared speak with such defiance, let alone survive the confrontation intact. Outside the chamber, alarms echoed across the galaxy's communication networks. Fleets and monitoring stations received fragmented reports of the humans' audacity, commanders and scientists struggling to comprehend the events unfolding. Humanity's single word had become a signal of uncertainty, a ripple threatening the stability of the Council itself. Back in the chamber, a few younger delegates looked at the humans with awe rather than fear. "Could it be," whispered one, "that we have underestimated them for centuries?" Kane's calm smile, barely noticeable, seemed to answer without words. Confidence was a weapon, and humans wielded it with precision. Arguments grew louder, some members demanding immediate action, others pleading for caution. The Council's unity began to fracture, cracks forming in centuries of dominance. Every alien could feel that the balance of power had shifted, not by fleets or technology, but by will, courage, and unyielding determination. Kane stepped forward slightly, his eyes scanning the room. The Council's reaction told him everything he needed to know. Fear and uncertainty had replaced arrogance. Chaos had replaced order, and the seeds of respect, grudging as it might be, were beginning to sprout. For the first time, humans were not just a species under observation. They were a force of influence, a spark that had ignited doubt in the hearts of rulers who thought themselves untouchable. Kane glanced at his crew, each member standing tall, ready to follow, and they knew that this moment would echo across the galaxy forever. The chamber erupted in murmurs again, but this time it was different. It was not just fear, but confusion, curiosity, and a strange admiration. Humanity had changed the rules of engagement without firing a single weapon. Without lifting a finger, they had unsettled the most powerful council in the galaxy. And in the quiet corners of the chamber, the High Chancellor thought to themselves, "If this is only the beginning, what are humans truly capable of?" The council chamber buzzed with uneasy whispers. The air vibrated with tension, thick and heavy like a storm waiting to break. Every delegate's gaze flickered nervously toward the humans, as if sensing that something far greater than power or fleets had arrived. Commander Kane stood silently, calm, and unwavering, a rock in the middle of a raging sea. The High Chancellor slammed a claw onto the crystalline podium, sending a sharp echo through the room. "Enough." The voice boomed, trembling despite its authority. "How dare a species so small, so insignificant, speak to us with such defiance?" But even as the words rang out, a ripple of doubt spread through the council. Kane's presence had already planted a seed of uncertainty that could not be shaken. Delegates turned on one another, arguing fiercely, fear coloring every word. "Do we strike now?" "We cannot allow this defiance to spread," hissed one, wings trembling, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Another shook their multi-limbed frame. "Strike." "No." Their resolve is dangerous. Their confidence is unshakable. Every move is deliberate, calculated. They are not ordinary beings. Something in them is different. The whispers grew into murmurs, murmurs into heated debates. The council's centuries of order were crumbling. The more they tried to regain control, the more apparent it became that the humans had unsettled them completely. Kane's single word, his calm defiance, had sparked a fear no weapon could create. The chamber grew colder, energy lines in the walls flickering, reflecting the tension. The High Chancellor's voice quivered as it spoke again. "Humans, you must understand. You challenge the galaxy itself. You risk every world under your defiance." Kane's eyes met the Chancellor's directly, unflinching. "We understand, and we do not fear you. Your threats do not sway us. Your power does not intimidate us. We act for humanity, and for nothing else." Delegates began pacing, some pacing so quickly that the crystal floor beneath them hummed under the pressure. "We underestimated them," one muttered, tentacles twitching in panic. Every calculation failed. Every prediction was wrong. This species, they are not like the others. The word spread like wildfire, feeding the growing fear among the council. Suddenly, alarms blared across the chamber, sensors detecting unusual energy patterns emanating from the human's tribute device. Whispers of potential hidden technology filled the room. Though no one dared approach to investigate, every alien knew instinctively that Kane's calmness masked something far more powerful than mere words. Kane tilted his head slightly, observing the chaos without a single tremor. Humanity's presence alone had shifted the balance of power, and the Council could sense it. They were rulers of countless civilizations. Yet here they were, paralyzed by a single species' courage. A quiet murmur passed through the chamber. What if they are stronger than we thought? Even the younger delegates, those who had not yet felt the full weight of the galaxy's history, whispered in awe. They are fearless, united, and clever beyond expectation. Kane's crew remained in perfect formation behind him, their silence amplifying the effect. Humanity's unity and resolve were louder than any shout, stronger than any weapon. The High Chancellor's crystalline body trembled violently, facets catching the light in unpredictable ways. Humans, the voice boomed. You leave us no choice. Yet we hesitate. We fear the consequences of action. We fear the consequences of inaction. Every delegate nodded, even those who still burned with pride. The truth was undeniable. Humanity had become a force that could not be ignored. Kane took a slow, deliberate step back, giving the Council space to absorb the magnitude of what had just occurred. Silence fell again, but it was different now, charged with awe and fear. Every alien heart raced, every mind filled with uncertainty. They had faced countless challenges over centuries, yet nothing had ever prepared them for human courage in its purest form. Outside the chamber, communications across the galaxy picked up the ripple of fear. Fleets paused in orbit. Planetary leaders whispered nervously, and historians immediately recorded the day as one that would redefine humanity's place in the stars. Kane's single word had become a spark, igniting respect, fear, and curiosity all at once. As the humans prepared to leave the chamber, the High Chancellor's voice softened slightly, almost as if accepting a truth too difficult to admit. You have changed everything. In a single word. Kane's eyes held the faintest hint of a smile, and with a nod to his crew, they departed, leaving the Council to wrestle with the fear of the unknown. And in that moment, every delegate realized the truth that no council meeting, no battle, and no decree could erase. Humanity was not just a species, it was a force, fearless and unyielding, destined to leave a mark on the galaxy that no one could ever forget. The council chamber was still, but it was a silence unlike any before, not one of control, but of uncertainty, fear, and a reluctant respect. Commander Kane and his crew moved with quiet dignity, their steps echoing softly on the crystal floors. Every eye in the chamber followed them, some in awe, some in disbelief, all aware that they had witnessed something extraordinary. Whispers of debate had faded, replaced by stunned reflection. The High Chancellor floated slightly above the podium, its crystalline facets catching the light in fractured patterns. Humans, the voice said, low and measured now, your defiance has changed the balance of this council. Your courage is remarkable. For the first time in centuries, no threat followed those words, only acknowledgement. Kane inclined his head respectfully, his voice calm and deliberate. We seek no war, we seek no tribute. We only ask to exist freely, as all species deserve. We do not fear the future, and we will not bow to intimidation. The council fell silent again, absorbing the simplicity and weight of his words. The aliens had faced thousands of threats, wars, and rebellions, yet none had the clarity and courage of humanity. As Kane and his crew prepared to depart, some of the younger delegates quietly observed, their minds buzzing with new possibilities. "Perhaps," whispered one, wings trembling, "perhaps humans are not just brave. They are something else entirely. A species that cannot be predicted, cannot be controlled. Perhaps we have underestimated them for too long." The fleet outside waited, engines humming softly, ready to leave. Yet within the humans, no pride swelled, no arrogance rose. They had done what needed to be done, and nothing more. Humanity's victory was not in fire or weapons, but in presence, unity, and courage. A victory of spirit that no alien could take away. The council's delegates whispered among themselves, some still in disbelief, others fearful of what might come next. For the first time, they understood that power was not measured by fleets or technology alone. Courage, resolve, and unbroken will were forces just as formidable. Humanity had shown the galaxy that even a single species, united, could shake the foundations of centuries-old authority. Kane glanced back at the council one last time, seeing the mix of fear, respect, and awe reflected in alien eyes. A subtle smile formed on his face, calm and proud. His mission had not been to fight, nor to threaten, but to demonstrate the unyielding spirit of humanity, and it had succeeded beyond measure. As the human fleet ascended into the stars, leaving the council behind, the galaxy seemed to pause, as if recognizing the moment. Planets whispered stories of the humans who dared to say, "No." Historians began recording the event in meticulous detail, and even the council, mighty and ancient, would never forget the defiance of a single species. And so, humanity returned home, not with trophies or loot, but with something far greater. A statement that would echo across the stars for generations. The council had learned that threats and intimidation could not bend a species with courage, that unity and resolve could shake even the most powerful beings in existence. As Kane looked toward the stars, he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen a glimpse of what humanity could be, but the story was far from over. Adventures, challenges, and conflicts awaited, but humanity would face them as it always had. Together, fearless, and unbowed. And somewhere deep within the council chambers, the High Chancellor murmured, almost to itself, "We underestimated them. And that may have been our greatest mistake." The stars stretched endlessly ahead, bright and full of promise. Humanity had proven itself, not by war, but by courage, not by force, but by spirit, and the galaxy would never forget the day the humans spoke, and the council trembled.